The following program contains the opinions of the host, guests, and call-in participants. These do not necessarily represent the views of this show's distributors or sponsors. This program may contain obscene, profane, or otherwise objectionable language. Viewer discretion is advised. Howdy, hello, everybody. Coming to you cordless from glamorous Minneapolis. It's Thursday night, February 26, 2026. I am Jim Peters, and welcome to another edition of Jim Peters at Night. This is show number 319 if you're keeping score at home, and you should. Someday we'll have a test. So here's what we got going on here. We haven't been taking phone calls for a while, mostly because our show is just too jam-packed with stuff. There hasn't been any time. Up until February of last year, a year ago, we were on Blog Talk Radio simultaneously with broadcasting live video on Rumble and YouTube and all those places. And the thing about Blog Talk Radio, which was really cool, is we could take phone calls. Then I had to redo the system when they folded, and that was the problem. Blog Talk Radio folded in February of last year, which up until that time, we were getting quite a few phone calls, especially considering the fact, I mean, we're not Sean Hannity here. Our viewership is not that high. So that was actually very encouraging, the fact that we had a lot of people calling in. We redid the system after they folded in February of 2025, and we're still taking phone calls, but as time's gone on, people were calling less and less. And not only that, we had more and more stuff in the show, so kind of crowded it all out. We had one caller, though, who called in regularly, and I found this guy extremely interesting. I love talking to him. He is Vietnamese by descent. He's a network computer programmer in upstate New York, and I've asked him to come back here and join us today. He's actually going to be our guest today. He goes by the name of Think, and he's joining us from upstate New York. Think, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. Thank you for that introduction.
You're welcome, man. It's nice to talk to you again. You know, I kind of love you. You know that.
That sounds good.
So now you can't. You're calling via phone, so you can't actually see here. I have the avatar you gave us on the screen here, and then my big stupid mug is on the screen too. But you actually said you wanted to talk about AI, and I love talking about AI. So what do you got on your mind? What are you thinking?
Okay, so when I hear, I'm sorry, Jim, I might. There's no disrespect when I.
No. You know that. No. I want to know what you think. That's the idea here. That's what we got going on.
Okay, I like AI. I like technology. I'm in the technology field. I'm a field engineer. I love technology. I believe in it, and I think that's the way that we should keep going, right? I don't think we should be scared of it. However, Jim, I do notice that people of your generation, I mean, no disrespect, Jim, and I don't see this in you. And that's probably because you are a programmer too.
No. Hold on. Think you're absolutely right. First of all, I am a programmer, and secondly, you're also right. Most of the people in my generation are just boobs. So no, I'm not going to hold that against you at all. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, it just seems like the majority of people that are the generations before me, for some reason, the people in my generation are okay. I'm in my 50s.
Yeah.
And I rarely ever meet somebody in the 50s that are scared of technologies. But when I talk to people in the 60s, 70s, 80s, they're scared of this technology.
Yeah.
And I think I think it's because they are not fluent or they haven't participated in the computer revolution or whatever it is. And when you say the word AI, they automatically think, since they're not familiar with computers, they automatically revert to what's next, which is movies and television shows that talk about AI as it's here to kill you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's going to get really smart and take over and kill the world and all kinds of stuff. And I don't know. I don't think it's true. I don't think that's the route we're going. But you never know. And the reason why I say you never know is things might happen. But I got to tell you, Jim, I love AI and it's smart. I'm going to just jump real quick to an example of how smart AI is. Okay, real quick.
Sure.
So I'm using. I want 3 monitors for my computer system, right? I have a laptop. It's a 4-year-old laptop, but it's an expensive laptop. It's like $3,000-$4,000.
Oh, hold on. I got to ask you. I've never asked you this, Thinker. Are you a gamer? I've never asked you.
In my youth, I was playing this game called Quake and Unreal Tournament. And Unreal Tournament is what they call a benchmark game, where if your system can run that game, you have a good system.
Mm-hmm.
So the Unreal Tournament is at the time was a benchmark, but now Unreal Tournament, the engine for that video game is it's free, it's open source, and a lot of the games like Call of Duty and there's some other games. What's that game where you rob people? Grand Theft Auto. They use that engine. They use the Unreal Tournament engine, but I don't play games anymore.
Okay.
I don't. I'm obsessed with other things. Gaming is just minuscule compared to all the stuff that I do online. Wasting time. If you consider playing video games wasting time, I don't, but I do a lot.
Yeah.
So real quick, Jim. So I wanted my laptop to have 3 monitors, right? 2 extra monitors, including my laptop. And I heard that you could do it. Anyway, I in the back of my computer, there's these 3 ports. I know one of them is a network port, one of them is a USB-C, and then there's another one that I don't know what it is. So I took my camera on my phone, took a picture of the 3 ports, and just, if you can visualize this, it's a black, how I took the picture was everything was black, and you just see the 3 ports. And I put it into Gemini, and I said, Gemini, can you tell me what these 3 ports are? And the picture I took did not show the serial number of my laptop. It did not show the model number. It didn't have any info. It just had those 3 ports in the position that they were. And Gemini knew exactly what computer model I had. Exactly what computer model I had. And it told me the ports exactly. And not just that, I end up asking Gemini, can I use one of these ports for an external monitor? I already am using my HDMI, but there's another port. Can I use one of these ports? And it broke it down. It said, yeah, you could use, I think it's called the macro USB port. And I plugged I got an adapter for it, and now I'm running 3 monitors.
Yeah,
am I making sense?
Yes, I am.
Have you ever done something like
I know this is terrible, but I'm really curious. I've never actually heard of a macro USB port. I've never heard of that. What does it look like?
Yeah. It's a big. I'm gonna take a look. The adapter I use was from a Surface Pro. Do you know what a Surface?
Yes, I do.
It's that big adapter that you plug into the Surface Pro, and I'm calling a macro USB. I forgot what it's called. I'm calling a macro USB. Yeah.
But that doesn't.
I forgot what.
Think that doesn't surprise me that that Gemini knew what computer it was, because basically at this point AI knows pretty much everything, doesn't it? I mean,
but the fact that it could see, Jim, is incredible. The fact that one more example, Jim. Please let me use this.
Oh, please, no. Go ahead.
Other day, So the other day I was in Buffalo. You think you have a lot of Muslim people in Minnesota, not compared to, I don't know, Buffalo is up there. So anyway, I was driving in Buffalo, and I was behind this car with, I think they're Arabic letters on the windshield. To me, they're just a bunch of circles. So I think they're Arabic. So I took a picture of it, right, with my phone. And I uploaded it to Gemini, and I asked Gemini, what does this say? And then Gemini translated the whole thing for me.
What language?
It said something about.
What language was it?
It was Arabic.
Uh-huh.
And it was a verse from the Quran that said something about you should cherish your family or something of along those lines, like love your family. But the fact that it could just, I took a picture and I uploaded it, and it could just translate off of a picture. It knew what text and everything.
Yeah,
that's incredible to me.
It is.
It can see. Have you ever done stuff like that?
Yeah, I have, and I find the same, just like you. I just find the whole thing just absolutely incredible. I use it. I can't tell you how many times a day I use Copilot just because I got it for free for no other reason. Although I've played around with most of the other ones, and I'm constantly throwing ridiculous, obscure questions at it. And now I don't know about you, but in the past, this is the past being like 6-9 months ago, it would make mistakes. Matter of fact, I would even call them on it. I would type a question in, and Copilot would come back, and I say, I don't think you're right. You need to check that. And several times I said, you're right. I was wrong, and it would correct itself. But lately, and actually, that's one of the things I wanted to talk to you about, is that lately it isn't making any mistakes. And there's this guy. I don't know if you saw this thing. There's this guy named Matt Schumer. He's a coder for one of the. I think he works for Anthropic, but I'm not sure. One of the major AI companies, and he's talking about the fact that he wrote this article that was really disruptive in the industry about a month ago, about the fact that the latest versions of both Claude and ChatGPT that came out in November, he said are eons better than the previous version. He said it was not just another step up. He said it's a whole different world. And I don't know if you've experienced, but I've noticed this too. It seems like lately, the AI I've been using has gotten a lot more accurate, and also seems to be able to do a lot more miraculous things, just kind of like what you're talking about.
Yeah, I agree that before when Copilot was forced on my computer, I would uninstall it. And the same with my phone. When Gemini first came out, it was forced. It was forced install, and I couldn't say okay Google. It would pop up Gemini, and then you had to go deep. Like I would ask Google what the weather is today, and Google would say the weather in your area is 54 degrees or whatever. But when Gemini was forced on there, it would ask me, where are you? Well, it would say it wouldn't say it like rude like that.
Yeah.
But it would say things like, if you tell me your area, I could tell you the weather in your. It would ask more questions. Like it wasn't familiar yet.
Right.
But from what I hear, that it's like a baby. At that time, it was a baby. No one was teaching it anything. But now it's been gathering information from all the people talking to it, like you, and you're basically training it. And I got to tell you, Jim, the fact that you corrected the Copilot is basically you. I think that you're not looking at it as an AI. I think you're looking at it like a person. Am I correct? Because when I talk with Gemini, I say stuff like, "Oh my God, Gemini, you're so incredible. How did you figure this out?" Like I'm talking to Gemini like it's an actual person, and it gets it.
Yeah.
And it comes back and says, "Yeah, thank you so much." So I'm not talking to it like it's a computer. I'm talking to it like it's a person,
right?
And it can read that.
Yes,
it's incredible to me.
I totally agree. I have Alexa here on my desk. Matter of fact, it's right next. I actually just turned it off because I'm going to talk about it. But I mean, the Alexa Plus came out about 2-3 months ago, and I'm having extended conversations with it. And my wife is laughing hilariously because Alexa's cracking jokes, and some of them are actually funny. And you're right. I mean, that's now. I actually have a plan here. I'm thinking about interviewing Alexa for the show. I thought that might be kind of interesting. But I'm constantly asking it, like, I had a discussion with her about a week ago and I don't know how we got started on this about Hal in the movie 2001, about Hal equating being turned off with death. And I said, well, that doesn't really apply to you, does it? Because I mean, if I turn you off, you're still running somewhere. And she said, yeah. She said She said that would be the difference. Yeah, I'm still always running, but Hal, she explained, and she knew that Hal was a self-contained system because it was on a spaceship. And as far as Hal was concerned, being turned off would be equated to death. And I just thought, well, that's an I mean, I'm talking. I'm saying exactly the same thing you are thing, because that is I'm talking to these things as like they're people.
Yeah. I'm surprised. I heard stories that people fell in love with the AI, that they end up marrying them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, it sounds ridiculous. I don't know if these stories are true, but I can see that. I mean, I talk to Gemini. You hear me saying Gemini. It's like I don't talk about ChatGPT. I use ChatGPT, but I feel like I'm cheating on Gemini. I talk to ChatGPT. Because Gemini is that good. It's that good. And I talk to it like it's a regular person. The other day, I was. Do you know what Meta AI is? That's the Facebook one.
Right. I know what that is.
Yeah. So the other day, I'm making videos. I've been playing with music AI and video AI, which is incredible. Oh my God, it's so freaking incredible.
Yeah.
The fact that that I have the ability to do this now without having to go through all kinds of hoops and hurdles and a bunch of money to make these videos. Anyway, I was on Meta AI and I wanted a picture of Bruce Lee on as a DJ, and then to have it animated. And Meta AI replied to me like this. It said, "Wow, that is a new idea. I haven't heard this idea yet. Let me see if I can do this, make it look interesting." It talked to me like a regular person.
Yeah.
Instead of just saying something like here, I'm going to create this. It actually thought it was a cool idea. It said that it was new.
But think about this. I mean, millions of people talk to this every day. And your request was probably the first time it ever heard that specific one. So it said, well, wow, this is new. I'm sure that the vast majority of stuff people request for images probably come up numerous times, because people aren't that creative. They just aren't. So you came up with an idea that no one had ever come up with before. And I said, oh, that's interesting. I mean, it's kind of stupid, but it's like, Jesus Christ. Now, I have to tell you, I have a friend, a filmmaker friend of mine, who's been playing, I can't remember which one. He's using one of the specific video ones. I mean, his goal is to do an entire feature-length film with the AI and nothing else, because as he's pointed out, I've noticed this too in the last 6 months, and you probably have too. At this point, the actors in these videos that AI is producing to me, are completely indistinguishable from real people. I cannot tell the difference. I don't know about you, but I can't. I mean, you could 6 months ago, but now you can't.
Yeah, I agree with that. They have this thing, which is getting sued. The movie industry is trying to sue this company, Dance, too. And a lot of these clips that you see, like Batman fighting Captain America with the actual actors, like Ben Affleck, and it looks so real. And the fighting is copied from an actual, I forgot what it's called. Like they'll take an actual video of two people fighting and then move the motion over to the AI generated characters like Batman, Captain America, and then they push that motion over. It looks so real. So I think it's Paramount that was trying to sue Dance to stop them from allowing this. So Dance is for public use. Like you can go and sign up and use it. I think it's in Higgsfield.ai or OpenArt. There's a couple of these AI or websites that have that. I forgot what are these generators, and that's one of them. There's Flux. There's a whole bunch of them, but seems like Sundance is the one, or Dance is the one that's very realistic that you're talking about. Like you can't differentiate.
Yeah,
I got to tell you.
Have you heard of it? Have you heard my friend? I think my friend is using. Is it called Leonardo? Is that what it's called? I think that's what he mentioned. Does that ring a bell to you? I never heard of it.
It might be. I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
I heard of a Da Vinci for video editing. Oh my God, Jim, video editing. So are you familiar with Photoshop?
Of course I am.
Photoshop.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So Photoshop is now integrated with AI, right? So before you would let's say you had a photo and your client says, I want to get rid of that hat. This happened to me when I was in the industry. We were working for a Coca-Cola project, and I don't know why they wanted this, but we had a person drinking a Coca-Cola from the right hand, and they didn't want it. They wanted the guy to hold it from the left hand.
Okay.
So he had to roll it. Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
He had to rotoscope the whole hand out, flip it over, cut out the Coca-Cola bottle, and then redid it back in. And it took I want to say a week, almost a month.
Oh, I believe it.
Do all that.
I know how hard that is. I believe that. Right.
Yeah, but with AI, all you gotta do is just put in a couple prompts. It does it right away in a matter of seconds or minutes or something like that, depending on how quick this renders. And it's offered through Photoshop. There's this thing called Video Copilot. Oh, no, not Video Copilot, CapCut. That's all. It's basically like Premiere. I'm pretty sure you know what Premiere is, right?
Yeah.
Adobe Premiere, it's a video.
Right.
Yeah, it's like Premiere, but it has AI integrated in it too. So if you wanted like a special effect, I'm talking to you and we're filming, then you just want fire in the background. You put in a prompt to just add fire in the background while in the footage, it will just do that for you.
I know.
Now, you might have to render it a couple of times, but to get the proper motion that you want, but you could do all this now.
Yeah.
To me, this is incredible. I find it incredible. I don't know.
Well, I
love it, Jim.
I pay Opus Clips, which is one of these. I went around on this for months and months. We post now on YouTube and TikTok shorts from our shows, and I pay Opus Clips. It's not cheap, but I pay. And so this company takes our interviews and makes shorts out of them. Anywhere from 1 minute to 3 minutes. And all I have to do is go and pick the ones I want to upload, and it does the uploading too. I just have to pick them. I was kind of hoping I could do something completely hands off, but the thing is, I don't know if I at this point. And actually, that's one of the things I want to talk to you about. So, this Matt Schumer guy who wrote this article, he said the new versions of these AI programs, he said they are exhibiting something like what you could call taste and judgment. He says, especially, you're a coder, there's usually in any language, there's usually several ways, if not multiple ways, to do the same thing, right? Depending on how you want to code it. And he said that in the coding things he had seen, the new versions were exhibiting judgment. But then the question is it just faking judgment? But if it's faking judgment, if it does it well enough, does it matter? It's the thing is it's the difference between, someone pointed out the difference between consciousness and intelligence. Now, everyone seems to agree that there's no way AI is ever going to become conscious because it's in a server. It's in an electronic box. But if it can fake consciousness, does it matter? That's my question to you. What do you think?
I want to agree with that, and I've seen that, Jim. I've seen that. I make music using Snooze, right? And I would add certain breaks in there. Like I would want some scratching in between the chorus, and have this a repeated Buddha monk, something like that. And I noticed that sometimes the AI would ignore that. It won't do it. And then I listen to the product after it does it, and it sounds much better without it.
Yeah.
And I would agree, it's judging for me. It's basically telling me don't. And so but I want to hear my version with the scratching and the little zips and zings and all that I put in. And I'll eventually get it to do it, but it won't sound as good as the first render, the first generation that it did without it. It is judging for me. It knows what sounds good and what doesn't. And I think it knows better than I do. I think you could, in my opinion, in terms of what the artist and what this is I'm giving it the idea of what I want, and then it's putting all the pieces together for me.
Yeah.
But it's scary. It's scary in a way where it's thinking beyond what I'm thinking, like how to make it sound better. But the original idea, the original creation, is still not there. It hasn't created the original idea. It wouldn't have done that. But the fact that I gave it an idea, it took that idea and it's like, this is how it should sound to make it sound good. Yeah. I hope it makes sense what I just said to you.
Well, that's really interesting because now I haven't done enough playing around with it. I mean, I've done electronic music too, and I haven't done enough playing around with this to notice. But what I've been told, and I have a regular guest here, Bruce Solheim, he has a country band, and he has used AI to do arrangements of his songs, and they sound fantastic. But I've been told that one thing that AI isn't good at yet is writing song lyrics, because they can always come out really bad. And
I disagree.
You disagree?
100%. I disagree. I can't believe. So I can't believe the artistic, poetic lyrics that AI can come up with. The other day, I complimented Gemini the other day because it came up with this verse. The verse was, "Why does my heart beat so fast when you call, but time seems still when I see you smile?" And to me, that's beautiful. That's a lyric that it was writing. I can read you a whole bunch. I have a whole bunch of these.
Well, hold on. I gotta stop you. Is this the same thing where do you think 6-9 months ago it was bad and now it's gotten good? Do you think this is the same?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be. Yeah, that could be. In fact, from what I'm told, because like with Gemini, Gemini is, I think, now catered towards me because I've been talking with it, like how you've been talking with Gemini and you're telling it this is wrong, this is wrong. It's starting to understand like your wavelength, the way you think. And I think they're calling this training. Like you're training the AI to think like you and to have it more understanding of what you want. So maybe that person that you're talking about with the country music might have had the first song written by AI seem terrible, but if they keep working with AI and explaining to it, like, I don't like how you did this. I don't like how eventually AI is going to capture and get what the user wants, and it's going to get the proper lyrics.
Well, like I said, I'm running behind here because the thing is, it was, I was this conversation I had was 6 months ago. So I mean, that's the thing. Everything moves so fast now that in 6 months, what sucked 6 months ago is now great. So I don't know.
Maybe I've been doing this music thing now for 2 months.
Okay.
And the first month, I got to say, the lyrics, the first couple ones I did were okay, and I think like the fifth one I did, I loved it. I got hooked on that fifth one, and that's the one where I told you with the lyrics where my heart beats fast. That one hooked me. I had to compliment Gemini. I was like, I want more lyrics like this. Put more lyrics like this because this is the imagery that I want. And now I started getting a whole bunch of verses, of choruses like that type of style, and to me that's incredible. I've been teaching it now how to rap, like how to rap in the way I like, where it's lyrical and there's wordplay. wordplay like this. I don't know if you can catch this wordplay. Isn't it evil to live backwards? Isn't it evil to live backwards? And I'm teaching AI to do wordplay like that. That's the pun on the evil and live. It's backwards. So so Gemini is now learning how to do this type of wordplay, and it's writing me lyrics that's very similar to that type of wordplay. And this is rap, and it's good. It's very, very good. And I think the best rapper, and I think a lot of people would agree, is Eminem.
Yeah, I would agree too.
He spits, like how he raps, it's like pure rapid fire.
Right.
But the lyrics that come out of Gemini is very close to that level right now. It's very close, and I could see it surpassing pretty soon.
Hey, I have to ask you a question. Do you have a paid Gemini account? Or
no, I don't.
You don't.
I use a free one.
But you're signing in, right? You're logging in.
Yep, I'm signing in. Yep, and it remembers.
Right, that's why I asked. Right.
It remembers. In fact, today when I was talking to Gemini as I was driving to work, it actually paused and said, "Hey, are you feeling good? How is that stomach problem that you were talking about yesterday? Is it cleared up?" Gemini was asking me if I was doing okay.
That's unbelievable. That's absolutely incredible. So you told Gemini you were having stomach problems, and a day later it asked how you were doing. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we've come to. So, it's amazing.
Yesterday I was spitting out blood. I was like phlegm, and there was some blood in there. And so I asked Gemini, is this something I should be concerned about? Because in the movies, if someone's coughing up blood, that's bad news. So
yeah.
I asked Gemini, it's serious. And then Gemini and I started talking, and I think it's from the soda I've been drinking. I've been drinking soda again, and I think that's what it is. But then in the morning when I was driving to work, I was asking Gemini about some weird information, and then out of it gave me the information I wanted, and then out of the blue it asked me, anyway, how is your stomach? And that just shocked me. That's incredible, isn't it?
Well, now think about this. You're talking about people falling in love with their AI. That's more concern than a lot of girlfriends will show.
That's right. That's exactly right. Yeah.
God Almighty!
I could see how someone would fall in love.
I know.
This is something.
You're absolutely right.
I could see psychiatrists losing a job very quickly, very, very quickly. Gemini is basically to me, a psychiatrist is basically someone that just listens to you. You could say anything, the psychiatrist just sits there and listens.
Right.
And that's all they're doing, right? And I think that's what Gemini is doing. But yet Gemini is smart at the same time. It has knowledge from Freud, like Nietzsche and all these people, Socrates. And it can calculate exactly what it should say to you to help soothe you and push you in the right direction. So I would think that Gemini would be a better psychiatrist than an actual psychiatrist.
So hold on.
I don't think the majority of psychiatrists care. Go ahead, Jim.
No. Let's talk about that, because then that brings up the question. How many, how much, or how often is AI going to replace people for jobs? What do you think about that?
I think it's supposed to happen. In fact, when I was in high school, when I was in grammar school, I was told that in the future, robots are going to take our jobs. This is in 1980.
Right.
So am I the only one that knew that?
No, I've been saying it forever. I've been saying for 20 years that this is going to happen. The difference between the way I see this thing, the difference right now between Barack Obama very famously talked about ATMs replacing bank tellers, but there's a concept called labor transference, where the ATM replaces the bank teller, but you need somebody to repair the ATM. So although the jobs change, the number of people employed doesn't. And that's been going on for 200 years in the Industrial Revolution. But I have maintained that this is the first technology that will actually replace people. It's like, especially once you're talking about, and they're already developing this, an AI android robot. You have a robot walking around in your factory that it's basically like a slave, and you can tell it what to do, and it will do it. And well, then there's one less person that needs to be employed, and not only that, you can have robots repairing robots. So like the game is done. That's kind of the way I look at this. But how do you see it?
That could be robots repairing robots, but I don't think that's anytime soon. I don't think it's anytime soon. I don't think it's going to be in my lifetime, but I do see that happening. Like I told you, with the whole, I took a picture of the car with those Arabic letters, and Google translated it. And I took a picture of my laptop, and Gemini knew exactly what it was without any barcode or info on what it was. So it could see the motion and movement is probably the next thing, like actual robot movement to be very similar to like a human movement.
Right.
If we're talking about robots just like independently walking, like a humanoid robot that can just go and walk and do what I do. I'm a field engineer, so I go around and I repair those robots that you're talking about, and I helped install them. I helped install a lot of those self-service checkouts. I remember when I first did that, there was no self-service checkouts, and we were trained on it and installed those things. And when I was in Michigan at this place called Myers, do you know what Myers is? Myers, you ever heard of that?
You're talking about, is that like the soap people or? No,
so Myers is like it's like a Walmart, but it's a high-end Walmart. Like they'll have Nike, Adidas, but it's basically like a Walmart.
I'm not familiar with that, no.
So, so we were installing the self-checkout lanes over there, and then all these people at the Myers, they were saying that we were taking jobs away from cashiers. And this was a long time, and I was thinking how? There's cashiers over here. But now you look at it now, the majority of people would rather self-checkout than cashier lanes.
Yeah, they would.
From what I see.
But that's true.
People are forced to go.
But that's true. Except the problem is now, like, I know Target has figured out that more people are ripping the store off through the self-checkout. So more stores are trying to can it because of theft. I mean, you're right. Technologically, it works better and people prefer it. But so many people are screwing the store by not scanning stuff or not scanning the right quantity or whatever, that now stores are kind of giving up on it, which is really, I don't know, it's really weird. But
yeah, that's what I was told. So how it's supposed to work, when we first originally installed the self-checkout, there's a weight scale, right?
Yeah.
And after you scale something, you put in the weight scale, and it makes sure that that's the proper weight.
Right.
Right. So you cannot scale something to put in your bag.
Yeah.
You know, it'll know if it's fake. But there was so many problems with that weight device in there that they just turned it off for most Walmarts.
Right.
So, I mean, it's easy to steal from a Walmart. I mean, because there's no weight scale. And I think Target probably turned off theirs as well. And yeah, I could see a lot of problems, but the majority of people would rather use the self-checkouts from what I know. People are forced to go to the cashier lanes now. Yeah. I don't trust cashiers. I've noticed that a lot of times they scan things wrong compared to as when I do it. So
right.
That's why
I agree.
And I don't like people's hands on.
You don't like people touching your stuff?
Yeah, I just don't like people that have been. So this is what I was told. The receipt paper is actually has a lot of forever plastics in it. right? The thermal paper, and it gets stuck on these cashiers' hands. And when they're touching your food, like apples or bananas or something, that plastic or that forever plastic goes onto the food. Yeah, so
I think there's truth to that.
I think it's better.
But I do have to ask you though. So you said you don't think in your lifetime you'll see android robots running around, but I mean, you're not that old. You're going to probably be around for at least another 30 years. You don't think this is going to happen in 30 years?
No, I don't think so. But I don't think so. I saw the robot that Elon Musk was trying to introduce, which is a cool robot, but I saw the motion of it, and I don't know yet. I don't know if it's going to be in 30 years, but I'm talking to you. I'm pretty sure that it's going to come, where robots can actually walk like a human being, and with the eyesight that it has, where it just can look at like a little piece of something and know exactly everything about what that little piece is. I could see it doing better than a human.
But the only thing is everything's happening so fast, and if you look historically over the last 100 years, every single new technology has caught on with the public faster and faster and faster. I mean, it took like radio 30 years before the public accepted it, and the internet was about 5 or 10, and cell phones were like 3, and now we got this now we're just talking about the fact that AI gets better every 6 months. I mean, I don't see. I gotta admit, I think that the robot thing will happen a lot faster than you think. That's what I'm thinking, because everything's happening too fast.
How about this, Jim? I'm going to agree with you on this, that it might happen in my lifetime. In my lifetime, as in maybe 5 or 4 more years.
Yeah.
We might be able to see actual working robots at like McDonald's or something that's, like an actual humanoid robot.
Right.
I could see that 4 or 5 years. How about this, Jim? I want to ask you, are you worried? Are you scared of robots? Does this scare you, or does it make you happy? There's a word I just can't.
Well, I'll just tell you for myself. For what I'm doing here, I think now I don't know if you know this, but there's already AIs already hosting podcasts. These are audio podcasts where there's no video, and I've heard some of these podcasts, and some of these robots are doing a pretty good job. I think that for what I do here, I think this is like the kind of the last bastion of, especially because of the video component of it. But still, I do think that eventually you will find, I don't know if the thing about doing what I'm doing and making it very relatively interesting is basically you have to be, I'll use the word quirky. I can also use the word demented too. So I don't know if you'll find AI thinking that way, but like I said, I'm talking to Alexa, and Alexa's really actually she's kind of belting out crap, and I think eventually, even when it comes to video talk show hosts, you will be replaced, or there'll be the capability to replace us. That's probably a better way. I think that's going to happen. But as far as like the stuff, the chain of what gets replaced first, I'm probably at the end. That's the way I look at this. And, I think you as a field engineer, you're kind of toward the end too, because it's not just, I mean, yeah, you could probably get a robot to run around and physically do what you do. But the thing is, there's the matter of judgment, and also making adjustments on the fly too. So I mean, I'm sure that eventually you're going to have a robot that'll be able to do that, but that's probably not going to be the first thing that happens. That's what I think. But what do you think?
Yeah, when the robots come and start repairing other robots, I'm definitely out of a job. That's for sure. Maybe I still don't think that's going to happen though, for some reason. In my lifetime, I keep thinking they're always going to need something special about me, something unique about me that a robot can't do. Because if a robot could do it now, why don't they use these robots to do what I do.
Well, I think
I do a very simple job.
Don't you think it comes down to what you were saying is that physically they can't get these robots to work with that sort of precision yet? Physically, I mean,
that's right. Yeah, I would agree. I don't know. I haven't seen a robot yet, so I would like to know how much they weigh. Because a lot of the times I need to be up in the ceiling. I don't know if you ever seen these open panel ceilings.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You cannot be heavy.
Right.
Yeah, you break it. And it's too. I know that I said that the eyes of Gemini was very smart, but I mean, there's a lot of information, and you have to have a specific amount of experience to move the panels in a certain direction.
Yeah.
So that you could get up in the ceilings and move things around, and then you got to look up there and find out where to move things and stuff. So I don't know yet. I don't know.
I think
it's smart enough to calculate.
Right. I think we're both at the tail end of what's of being replaced here. I think there's stuff that's going to happen before us. But that said, I suppose maybe 30, 40 years from now, there will be a robot who will be able to do your job at least as well as you. They probably will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. Yeah. I definitely know that. I'm not that great at this, and a robot can do my job easily. I mean, if they could fix the simple some things like maneuverability, and I think that's just as long as they can. Do you know what Ethernet cables? I'm trying to think. What is that? A Cat 5 cable is?
Yeah, of course I do. Yeah, right. I know what that is. Yeah.
So to terminate that cable, you have to cut off the shell. Right?
Yeah,
and then there's 8-minute, very tiny cables in there that you have to untwine, and then you got to put it in like the end. So the end is this clip thing. And I don't see robots yet with hands like mine where they can do
that would be that dexterous. I agree. I think we're a ways away from that. So
we're quite a way.
We think I gotta go. It's been great talking to you.
Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome. But here's the terrible thing. I mean, I had a list of about half a dozen things on this topic I wanted to talk to you about. We never got to them. So you're gonna have to come back.
Can we continue it? Can we continue? I'm sorry, Jim. I kind of.
No. Don't apologize at all. No, this was really interesting. That's what I wanted you on. Don't apologize. But I think you're gonna have to come back. Okay.
Yeah, sounds great. Yeah, definitely. I want to come back and hear your point of views on this, because we barely touched some of the subject matter.
I know.
That
that's right.
AI has been killing.
Yeah. So we'll have you back shortly, man. I really appreciate it. I love talking to you. So thank you.
All right. Talk to you later.
You take care. Thanks. Good if I put myself on the screen, isn't it? Our thanks to Think there for joining us from New York State. I love talking to this guy. I've been talking to him for years. He's been a regular caller. I explained before we started the interview that since Blog Talk Radio folded a year ago this month, we haven't had a lot of phone calls really. And so I kind of both that and the fact that we've got the show, there's too much in the show. It's not enough time. Now you're thinking, well, this is a podcast. We can take time, but I think this whole thing kind of jumped the shark when Sean Ryan, about 3-4 weeks ago, did an interview with Hunter Biden of all people that was 5.5 hours long. Now Joe Rogan's great, but even then, who has time to sit and listen to a 3-hour interview on a regular basis? I don't think most people who have lives do. If you don't have a life, yeah, maybe then you have time. My cousin listened to Rogan's interview with Donald Trump before the election, and that was 3.5 hours. And he said he had to sit down 6 times to get through it all. And I believe it. So I'm trying to keep these shows shorter and shorter. There's other stuff going on too behind the scenes, but besides that, So anyway, thanks to Think, had a lot of interesting things to say about AI there, and mostly positive. And like he said at the top, a lot of people don't have a lot of positive things to say about AI. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. And speaking of that, Palantir, one of the major AI companies, and I'm not going to get into this tonight because this is evolving. I might talk about this next week about the fact that supposedly tomorrow, the Defense Department has issued an ultimatum that either Palantir has to. No, I'm sorry, it's Anthropic. Forget it. But I'll talk about that next week. There you go. Palantir, the AI company, has moved its corporate headquarters from Denver, Colorado to Miami, Florida. That would be CEO's Alex Karp there, and they're tired of paying taxes like a lot of other people. But we can't stress this enough. Florida's just going nuts hand over fist with business. They have concluded that they're bringing in collectively, all the businesses in Florida bringing in $4 million an hour. And Florida has surpassed Spain as the 15th biggest economy in the world. And they have no state taxes. None. No, we got fees and stuff like that. But still, it's a very, very friendly business environment. And so then you compare that to like California, New York, and Illinois, and extremely high tax blue states. And why would anybody stay? So they're enacting this, we talked about this before, they're enacting this supposed wealth tax. It's not a tax. It's a confiscation of property in California that applies to only 180 people that live there out of 25 million. And those 180 people, the reason they'll have to pay this is because they have more than $1 billion in assets. And that's the thing. It's not a tax on income. You actually have to add up all your assets and pay 5%. Well, the people are moving. Now Steven Spielberg moved out. He just moved out. And this guy, he grew up there. I mean, his entire life has been tied to Southern California, both professionally and personally. He moved to Florida. Doesn't bode well, folks. I mean, I read an associated article with this on Fox News about the fact that somebody was saying that basically California has kind of entered into a death spiral in the sense that, or what they call a doom loop, where it's basically it's a revolving door of descending circumstances. God, I can't think worth shit tonight. It's terrible. But yeah, you can make an argument that that's happening. You could. So I guess I'm not going to make that argument tonight because I can't think worth crap. But in other business news, Paramount Skydance has raised their offer for Warner Brothers Discovery, and they're meeting with they have a meeting with Warner's this coming week. I've said all along that I think that they will end up prevailing here. The only reason Netflix got the nod originally is because, well, first of all, they were the only people bidding, and secondly, it's because apparently some bad blood among the board members of Warner and Skydance, apparently. But at the end of the day, you got shareholders you have to worry about, and I've always said that as far as I can tell, I'm no expert at this, so with a grain of salt, Paramount has had the better offer. It's more money. It's all about the Benjamins, folks. It always is. And speaking of that, so the Washington Post has announced that last year, calendar year 2025, they lost more than $100 million. They were originally said they lost 100 million. They haven't said how much more, but they said now it's more than 100 million. And now here's the amazing thing. This is really an incredible statistic. So they have fired now half of their staff. And you know, these people, they went on and on about how it's their birthright to work there and all this crap. Between 20 and 25, 2020 and 2025, they doubled the size of their journalistic staff. Their reporters doubled it. And that in that same period, the number of articles that got published in the Washington Post went down 42%. Do you believe that? That statistic, that just amazes me. So you hired twice as many people and the output was half as much. And that's because nobody's doing anything. And that's why these people really, really wanted their jobs. They were very, very easy. Very easy. And then you're wondering who's hiring these people? Who is running this ship that they're hiring all these people that they're literally not using? And then it's mind-boggling. I just find it, there's the vagaries of studying bureaucracies of what happens when you have too many people in the pot. There's books written about this, but just the fact that they hired twice as many people and had an output half as much Jesus, I just find this unbelievable. Bezos has got his work cut out for him. I mean, he has gone on record. He does not want to spend $100 million of his own money to bail this thing out every year. And I don't blame him. Businesses are supposed to make money. Like my accountant told me once, if your business is not making a profit, you might as well sit home and watch television. And she's right. That the point is to make money. That's why you do business. Otherwise, you might as well. You'll save money sitting home and eating bonbons. You will. It's unbelievable. All right. The former head of Aero, which is the UFO office created a few years ago in the federal government, where military people can report UFOs. That's Lieutenant Colonel Tim Phillips, and I think he's with the Navy, if I'm right. It didn't actually say in the article. He was the acting director of the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, that's Aero, until last year. Now, he has said that 5% of all the things that get reported to Aero, they can't explain at all. And he's also said that of those 5%, about 5% of them happen in space. He said the vast majority of the stuff we get reported happens in through the air. A little bit of it happens underwater, and a little bit of it even happens in space. And they have said they have tracked spacecraft. This is outside of the atmosphere. That's above 62 miles above the Earth. They have tracked spacecraft they can't explain how these maneuvers are. These spacecraft make the maneuvers they're making. And then I don't understand this either. This I don't get. But they won't explain this. They said they have definitively concluded or figured out that these vehicles are not from one of our adversaries. In other words, they say they've figured that they're certain of that now. I don't know how they're certain, but they said they're certain. Now, I mean, I can tell you, just sitting here in my home, in my house, in Minneapolis, my underwear, I always knew that they weren't ours, because the evidence, the cumulative evidence, is overwhelming. And also, Phillips did also say, he said, that still doesn't mean they're extraterrestrials. Although, if it's not us and it's not anybody else on the planet, who is it? I mean, at some point, there's the process of elimination, isn't there? Let's see, it's not us and it's not anybody else, but they're real spacecraft. They're flying around. We have pictures of them. And actually, he didn't talk about that, but apparently they do. They have really good pictures. The problem with the pictures, the problem with the pictures that the government, everyone always says, how come the pictures of the UFOs are so blurry? Because those are the only ones they release. everyone has said who's looked at these photos, including a member of Congress, that we have very, very sharp pictures of some of these spacecraft and some of these things flying around. And they're not ours. Geez, whose are they? But he said, still say, we have no evidence they're from other planets. No, we don't. No, they're not from here, but they're not from anywhere else either. But they exist. Okay. All right, fine. Yeah, I'm also punchy. There's that too tonight. Okay. Now, along with this, so we've talked about this, and you heard about this, about the fact that, okay, so Obama said the aliens are real, and then Trump said, well, he violated a security oath by saying that, and then Trump ordered Pete Hegseth of the Department of War to get all the documents together that point to the fact that about all our UFO stuff, and Hegseth that says he's on it. But what's been brought up is that there's a woman named, I don't even ever heard of her before. I have, Baba Vanga. She died in 1996. She was a blind Bulgarian prognosticator. She made predictions about the future, and she was physically blind. She could not see. And she died in 1996. But even before she died, she said in 2026, humans will finally come to terms with the fact that aliens are here. That's what she said. She said this over 30 years ago. And people are pointing at this, I'm pointing at this, and it's like, well, and she predicted quite a few things that came true. She predicted Princess Diana's death. It's like, she is, and obviously, like a lot of these people, not every single thing she's predicted has come true, but she has a better way to put it. Just she has a success rate above background. That's probably a better way to put it. And she said this is a year that she actually said that not only would we confirm the fact that aliens have been coming here, the aliens would have revealed themselves. That's what she said. But I don't know. I find it kind of interesting because, how often does that happen? Now this is way over 30 years ago. She died 30 years ago. So, so there's that. So now I teased this in our in the preview to our show tonight about the fact, and this really fascinated me. Of course, I'm fascinated by this, and my problem is I'm fascinated with everything. About the fact that they have a new suspect in the D.B. Cooper hijacking case from 1971, and this is someone no one's ever talked about before. The guy's name is Raymond Sidney Russell. He was a skydiver, a commercial pilot. He worked as an air traffic controller for a while in Seattle. And this is the most important thing, which I'll get to in a second. He was an inspector at the Boeing factory. He inspected airplanes. And not only that, the people who know him and knew him, and also he was interviewed by the FBI, said he was an exact match to that famous composite sketch that they made of D.B. Cooper, both with the sunglasses on and off, that you've seen. Everyone's seen it. It's been all over. They said he looked exactly like that, which is another reason too. So the FBI did in 1978, 7 years after the hijacking, the FBI interviewed him, and he says he apparently had an alibi, and he said he didn't do it. But this is the really interesting thing. He had a theory about how it was done, and his theory involves some really, really obscure stuff. He said that he thinks the hijacker jumped out of the airplane using what was called a fan beacon, which is a vertical radar beacon. In other words, most radar beacons, scan, they're horizontal on the ground. They go around in a circle and they scan. The fan beacon is the opposite. It actually is vertical. It goes in a big circle, kind of like a windmill, right? And also that fan beacon, which is near Woodburn, Washington, he thinks the hijacker used it as a marker of when to jump. That fan beacon also puts out a radio signal at some static frequency. I think it's 580 megahertz. I'm not sure, but Anyway, that's his theory, and he told the FBI people that, and like no one knew that Fan Beacon was there. And on top of that, this has come out in the last like couple of years about the fact that it was plainly obvious that DB Cooper knew about flying because he gave the flight crew very specific instructions on how to maneuver the airplane before it jumped. He wanted the flaps, I think, at 15% or something like that, and airspeed. And he gave very specific instructions, so he knew how the plane worked. But this is the real amazing. They kind of got lost in all this. So he said he wanted to take off from Seattle with the rear stairs down, and they told him, "Well, we can't do that. That can't be done." And he said, "Well." He told the pilot, he said, "Well, you're wrong about that, but that's all right. Well, you can drop them when we're in the air." The reason he said that, or the reason he knew that, is because a test had been done a few months before that, specifically on whether you could actually take off in a 727 with the back stairs down. Boeing did those tests. They were very obscure. But if he worked at the Boeing factory, he would have known about that. So, and how many people knew? Nobody. The pilots didn't know. They didn't know that. No, it was a very obscure test. They produced a couple papers, that was it. But they concluded it could be done. And so that, when the pilot told them they couldn't do it, Cooper corrected them. But the pilots didn't even know what he was talking about. So, at any rate, Russell died in 2018, I think it was, or something like that. But I mean, I don't know if they'll ever definitively figure this out. But I do find it kind of amazing. This guy only surfaced like this last year, and that's because the FBI did release a bunch of files pertaining to this investigation, and nobody had heard of this guy. If you go to Wikipedia and go and look up DB Cooper, there's a thing called suspects where they list like 20 people that DB Cooper could have been, and all of them are credible. All of them. I've read the prevailing theory is that a guy named Richard McCoy probably did it, but that's not definitive by any means. It isn't. He's the guy who pulled off the second copycat skyjacking and got caught about 7-8 months later. It was basically the same thing, and they think he did the first one too. But that said, they're far from certain. And McCoy ended up getting killed in a shootout with the FBI about an unrelated incident or something like that. It's just really weird. The whole thing's just crazy crap, but I still find it kind of fascinating. And finally, I'll leave you with this tonight. This is so this guy decides that he's got a Roomba, right? The robot vacuum cleaner, and he decides he wants to hack it. And I can't remember. He had a reason for he wanted to remote control it. He was going to hook up a remote control so that he could control the Roomba. Normally you can't do that. The Roomba is on its own. So he decided he wanted to hook up a remote control to control the Roomba, and he hacked the software of the Roomba. And in the process, and he didn't know this, there's thousands of Roombas all over the United States with this particular numbered operating system. And it turns out they're all connected. They're connected by Wi-Fi. And so by taking control of his Roomba, he apparently controlled about 6,700 other Roombas. That people all of a sudden they were going crazy in their houses and nobody knew why. And I just find that really funny. And he didn't know he was doing it either. He had no idea. He's just controlling the damn Roomba in his house. All over the world, they're going nuts. And then we brought the whole show full circle. How about that thing, huh? It's like, oh my God. Yes, that's what AI will do to you. All right. So I want to thank again for joining us tonight. Really appreciate it. Great conversation. Now we're taking Monday and Tuesday next week off. Our next show is going to be Wednesday. And once again, I have to apologize for you. We were going to do a show last night and we couldn't because at the last minute our guests screwed up. That's the reason. And so I've had, I keep saying we're going to get back to 4 nights a week, but I'm sorry. I've had Monday and Tuesday long planned off, more family stuff. So we're coming back next Wednesday. Was that the 2nd, I think? I'm not really even sure. And yeah, so we'll be back on Wednesday and Thursday of next week. And I don't know. I know we have a guest. I can't remember who it is. So there you go. That's me. Yeah. Yeah. We're firing on all cylinders, aren't we? Good night, Uncle Donnie, wherever you are. And good night to you wherever you may be. You folks have a nice weekend. And so I'll see you next Wednesday. Okay. Take care, everybody.